Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet an international keynote speaker who's going to teach us all how to master the fine art of quitting. We'll explain next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I've got a confession. I'm such a pleaser. I like to say yes to people. I never want to disappoint people, and often I overcommit. I join too many boards and too many associations, and then suddenly I don't have enough time to put my oxygen mask on first. So I need to learn how to quit more often. Lloyd Banks is an expert on that. He's an international keynote speaker, and he's my friend. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jeff. It's a pleasure.
Well, I'm struck by the title. I mean, on your shirt is quitter. You probably can't get on an elevator without somebody saying, so what's that about?
I get a lot of it, and a lot of it is pushed back. Sometimes it's what do you mean quit? I shouldn't quit. You shouldn't tell your kids to quit. I get it. That's not what I tell people. What I want people to do is quit the things that are holding them back, because I think we all have them, whether it's bad habits, it's bad mindsets, bad behaviors, toxic relationships. It's so many things, and it's different for everyone. And so what I try to tell people, look, I'm rarely going to tell anyone to quit their jobs even. I couldn't go speak to groups of people and tell them all to quit their jobs, or else no one would ever hire me to speak again. And so what I want them to do is quit those things that are holding them back. I say a lot, quit all those things that don't matter so you can live a life that truly does. And I feel like people deserve to be happy. Everybody deserves to be happy. And I feel like they're doing way too many things that are holding them back from that happiness.
All right, tell us all how you came up with that quitter slogan.
I had spent 25 years in the hospitality business. I owned a bunch of bars and nightclubs and restaurants, and I was very frustrated the last few years. And so one of my buddies was like, you know what, you should become a speaker. And so he introduced me to this lovely company called Heroic Public Speaking. And so I started doing a lot of writing with them. And one of my writing coaches there said, hey, Lloyd, I notice a lot of your success stories come out of things that you've quit. Have you ever thought about making quitting kind of your overarching story, like your thing? And I was like, no, I hadn't, but that sounds great. Let's do that. And so the quitter began, and it's just grown from there.
And he's working on a book, and he's got his fingers in so many different things. He's also an amazing international keynote speaker, as I mentioned off the top of the show. Let's go ahead and roll his sizzle reel.
What do you need to quit hanging on to so you can move forward? Like creating a masterpiece, quitting is an art. You have to decide what to keep within the frame and what to keep out.
Over the past 2 decades, Lloyd Banks has built, managed, and sold wildly successful nightclubs, restaurants, and bars in Texas.
And I'm gonna tell you a lot about quitting today, a lot. When quitting is done correctly, it isn't giving up, it's making room for something better. Build your team with people that care and work hard and share your vision. And that allows your business to run at even 95% of its capacity. Because at some point, I chose to become more than just a cash register. I insist now on being a great husband, and a great father, and a great friend. And do I succeed daily? Yes. I am perfect now. No, of course not. But progress over perfection, right? Success is getting everything we want, and happiness is wanting everything we get. Quit all those people, quit all those things that are not bringing you joy or success or value to get truly unlimited earning possibilities. Don't want to see the hurt in your child's eyes when you disappoint her one more time. And you don't have to. You have the power to control and fix it. So start fixing it today.
I mean, you just own the stage. What kind of groups do you like to speak to?
You know, I've spoken to so many different types. I mean, very high-level corporate to I've spoken to the United Fastener Association, and you ask, what is that? I asked the same question. They make screws. They told me we make little screws and we make big screws that hold roller coasters together. And like in my video, that was me talking to Camp Gladiator, a fitness, outdoor fitness boot camp. So I love them all.
You also do one-on-one coaching. So talk about the coaching clients. What kind of requests are you getting?
Yeah, I've had a lot of great opportunities. I've coached some very high-level executives, and it's funny, those people seem to have the most issues or most things they need to quit. But one of my most recent ones that I thought was the funniest, it was serious, but it was funny because it came as a referral to me, and she called me, and our first conversation, she said, Lloyd, I need to quit watching trash TV. You know, the housewives, the Kardashians, all that kind of stuff, which I wish I could coach my wife to quit watching it, but that hadn't happened yet. She hadn't asked. And so I did. We spent 8 weeks together, about an hour a week. And first thing I asked her is, I said, why do you need to do this? And she said, I don't think it is helping me be a better person. And so we went down the rabbit hole, and we figured out why she was watching it. What would her life be like if she wasn't watching it? And when she could see that and feel it and taste it and realize that her life would be better, maybe she would be better. And so we got her there. And now, I can say that 3 months later, I talked to her a couple weeks ago, and she seems happier than ever. And she's not watching any of that television anymore. So she seems to be doing well.
I love it. We're going to pull up his speaker and coaching website. And as we scroll down the website, let's talk about the idea that there's a process to quitting. I mean,
Absolutely.
If everybody could quit on a dime, there wouldn't be an alcoholic on the planet.
Right.
So sometimes it's a journey. How do you help people navigate that?
Yeah. I think, and that's the other thing, is because I've talked to a lot of different people. Some people, again, when people come to me and they have maybe drinking or drug issues, I tell them, like, look, I can help you, but I'm not an expert in that field. I'm not a doctor, things like that. There may be better help for you out there, but I can help you. But there's a lot of things. A lot of people just have bad mindsets, and again, they're in toxic relationships or things like that. And so again, that's kind of going back to the trash TV. That's one of the first things that I try to walk my clients through. I try to ask them a series of questions, and really what I want them to see is, what is your life like if you quit this habit, this bad behavior? What does it look like? And it doesn't take long for them to realize, oh my gosh, my life would be so much better if I could just quit and leave this behind. And so then it's like, okay, now we're going to take it step by step. Now we're going to figure out every single little step that we need to do to get you to the place you want to be. And then it's a little bit different for everybody.
And I think we can all agree that negative self-talk is something that we can all quit.
It's horrible. I do it all the time.
Right? You just, you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I gained 5 pounds. I look ugly. And then you keep criticizing yourself all day.
Yes.
So do you help people with things like that?
Absolutely. And I think it's easy for me to tell people because, again, I spent 25 years owning nightclubs and bars. And so I have been down that road of a bunch of horrible things, from bad habits to bad mindsets to bad behaviors and relationships and things like that. And so I don't try to preach or teach on anything that I don't have some sort of, like I've been there. Sure. I want them to know that, like, look, this isn't something that I just made up. This is something that I worked on. I did it myself, and now I've helped hundreds of others of people do it. And so I can help you too. But we all have those struggles. I mean,
yes.
Everyone, like, there's nobody, there's a point in my talk now where I say, raise your hand if you're still got a bad habit that you're trying to quit. And there's always at least one or two people that don't raise their hand. And I say, something like, well, if you didn't raise your hand, then you are either Jesus Christ, nice to meet you, ma'am, and I move on. Because there's always somebody who thinks they don't have something that they should quit, and we all do.
Outstanding. I love it that you're a speaker who gives away the gold on his social media. There's just countless videos that give away great tips. Here's one of my favorites.
Legendary coach Vince Lombardi said, winners never quit and quitters never win. You buy that? The greatest, Michael Jordan, don't argue, said, if you quit once, it becomes a habit. Never quit. Maybe. Well, I found this one. Richie Norton said, like creating a masterpiece, quitting is an art. You have to decide what to keep within the frame and what to keep out. And I'm going to tell you a lot about quitting today, a lot. And I know it may sound strange and almost counterintuitive because almost everything that we are taught about success typically excludes quitting. But I will stand here proudly today and tell you that I believe in order to succeed, you have to quit.
Amazing. I want to talk about the different ways people can engage you. Obviously, they can bring you in to be their keynote or breakout session. They can hire you to coach, but you also have an online coaching program.
I did. I just finished it. It's actually, it's up on my website now because my team finished it. We haven't even marketed it yet, but it's there and it's very affordable. It's, quite frankly, it's cheaper than the one-to-one coaching, but it's something that I think everybody can use. And I think it's a great step for anyone.
Outstanding. Okay. So Lloyd, in the last minute or so, final thoughts. What do you want to leave people with?
I think like a lot of things, quit is and is not a four-letter word, and I think a lot of people look at quitting as such a negative thing, and I think they need, if you got to look at it like, again, that quote that I just mentioned with Vince Lombardi, quitters never win and winners never quit. It's all context, because what if that was his opening line at an AA meeting? Wouldn't go over so well, right?
Right.
And so we all have those things, and it's okay to recognize those and then realize that we need to do something about it. And if you could do something about it yourself, fantastic, do that. But if you need some help, feel free to reach out to me or somebody else that can help you, because that's the thing. I truly believe we all deserve a life of joy and happiness. And sometimes you can't get there until you let go of something.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your heart and teaching us all how to be quitters.
My pleasure.
You bet. We're going to end with his website, which is very simple, LloydSpeaks.com, the great Lloyd Banks. Thanks for coming on the show. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.